Welcome once again to our TV3 Community Calendar. Dave Aune here, along with Jim and Don. And
hi, Dave.
And hi, welcome.
Thanks.
The middle of winter, and we're talking about Polar Fest today.
Yes, that's right. Polar Fest is a great way to celebrate winter in Detroit Lakes, and you know we've already had a great weekend. It's been a fun weekend.
Yep, great activities.
Yes, and then but lots and lots of activities to get us through the week, and of course. Probably one of the funner things that I'm excited about, Jim, is being able to ski with Polar Pete at the mountain. That's going to be a lot of fun.
That will be great for all ages.
Yeah, and then Wednesday, of course, the Polar Putt is at the Washington Square Mall. I would be remiss if I didn't say that. That's from 11:30 to 1, and we set up a little putting course in the mall, and you actually get to putt, and then you win prizes. The farther distance you putt, the bigger the prizes. And then that evening is the Detroit Mountain Polar Palooza corporate tubing races and snow sculpting. I know Shelley as Hardwood Groove is going to come and play.
Yep.
And I know there's some corporate teams that are going to have some fun tubing. They're going to resculpt the hill that faces the lodge, and so that there's going to be like tubing lanes.
Right out in front, yep.
Right out in front there. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Very fun to have that new venue for wintertime activities here in Detroit Lakes, especially during something like Polar Fest.
It is.
Great addition to Polar Fest, yes.
Sure.
It is.
Now, just backing up a bit, how long has Polar Fest been around?
Well, I know the Polar Plunge is in its 19th year.
Okay.
I know there were a few years that it was just the Polar Plunge, and then it kind of built back up again.
Okay, yeah. We have some history with Water Carnival and things like that, so it's great to have a winter kind of festival to balance that whole thing out, and just another reason for people to spend time and enjoy Detroit Lakes.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, some people have said that Polar Fest is becoming to winter what Water Carnival is to summer. So we're hoping to continue to build Polar Fest and just bring more great events. You know, other things that we have going on, of course, the Noon Rotary Spaghetti Feed is Thursday from 4:30 to 7:30, and of course the Iced Tea Golf Tournament with the Detroit Lakes Community and Cultural Center. That's Friday afternoon. And Saturday, Jim, Saturday is like the day. It's the key signature day.
Yep.
Yes, it is.
Lots of things, starting off with the pancake breakfast down at the Pavilion. We've got the ski lessons out at the Detroit Mountain at 9 o'clock. The Freeze Your Buns run, that's been going on for many years now.
That has too, yep.
The Kids Youth Fishing Derby. We have the Polar Fest Plunge Party. There is the 19th annual, like Don said, Polar Plunge this year. And we have beanbag tournaments, tailgating on the lake, fireworks. The winter frozen fireworks are fantastic. If anybody's never seen the winter fireworks, come on down to the lake that night, 7 o'clock.
I think one of the neat things about that is that you have young kids that can be there and don't have to,
they're so tired.
I'm going to try to make it till 10 or whatever, but I think
it's nice. At 7 o'clock, yeah, it is.
And tailgating down there too. We have bonfires, hot chocolate provided by Zorba's. It's a great time, so come on down about 6 p.m. in front of Zorba's.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, Polar Fest is kind of under the auspices of the Chamber, but there are so many different organizations involved, so I don't even.
Do you want to answer that question?
Yeah.
It actually is an all-volunteer committee.
Okay.
It's just kind of a little renegade committee that we've been doing this for years together, and we just all volunteer our time and we work on it year-round.
Okay. Yeah, it's a fun event.
It doesn't belong to anyone. I mean, we all. If you have an idea and you want to bring it to Polar Fest, make sure that you bring not only your ideas and your thoughts, but you've got to run it, or you've got to have a group of individuals that are willing to run it, and that is the beauty about this, and that's why it works so well and it's so successful.
It's your event, you own it, you work it.
Exactly.
And it reminds us that there are so many groups in Detroit Lakes, so many organizations that work together to make this community an even finer place to live and enjoy.
Absolutely. Yeah, so. I know, and rounding out, of course, the week on Sunday. Skating with Polar Pete, and that's going to be at People's Park, which is right behind Zorba's, and so Polar Pete's going to strap on his skates, and that should be interesting.
It will be a good time.
It will be. And then, of course, that night at the Lodge is you guys have a fun
live
night.
At the Lodge, bubbly tasting with Pastas Wine Company and Deb Jenkins Band, 6 to 9, complimentary. Come on out and sample a bunch of different bubbly and have a good time listening to blues music.
And people are familiar with Deb Jenkins from around the area.
They are.
She's been here many times.
She is.
Things, so. Are we missing anything? I mean, it's just a fun
Monday, we have a little wrap-up party out at the mountain from 10 to 3.
Okay.
Anybody that would like to come on out, make it a weekend of, the President's
Day
weekend and have a good time. 11 days. This year, Polar Fest is 11 days of activities.
It's hard to believe.
It's hard to imagine that we are this far into the winter season. I mean,
I know.
we sort of say we're halfway, and you never know.
Right.
But
Yeah.
it's just fun to have something to look forward to like that coming up soon.
It is. And for more details, of course, there's a great website. It's polarfestdl.com. We also have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. So please follow us. Share your photos on Instagram. We'd love to get some great photos to add to our collection.
And certainly looking ahead, people want to check out what's happening this year if they maybe want to become involved next year.
Yep, absolutely.
People to call.
Yep, and the full schedule of events is on the website as well.
So, well, Jim, Don, thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Dave.
You enjoyed this time on camera, do you?
Oh, well, yeah, I'm on this side and not that side. So yes, no, it's all good. It's good to see you and good to be back.
All right.
And just as a quick little reminder, we do have these blue rack cards all around town
Right.
with full schedule of activities for anybody that's interested.
Okay, sounds good. So, well, again, thanks, and thanks for watching. We'll be back right after this break. Welcome back to the Community Calendar here on TV3, and Connie joins us, and you're with the Red River Valley Hospice Organization. And we were just talking briefly. I don't know of anyone that can say enough good things about hospice and how they help and come in and assist in some of those very, very difficult times.
Thank you. Yes, it's true that most any family is not untouched by death. And so most people, therefore, are familiar with Hospice of the Red River Valley. We started in the area in 1981.
Okay. So, I've just, heard so many people respond to members and staff members of hospice as being true angels on earth. And going through it firsthand with family members and things, it's true. It really is. How they know what's happening and how to prepare and assist and carry you through.
Thank you. Those are very kind words. We often refer to our work at hospice not as being employed, but as being called to that kind of work. And
exactly
hopefully most of our staff do carry with them that kind of sensitivity that is so crucial at such a tender time, such a privileged time in the lives of a family.
Sure. So, now, do you have special things that you want to visit with about today? What are we exactly looking at?
Well, today we were focusing just a bit on the topic of the loss of a spouse or a partner, and I'm thinking it's probably an especially poignant topic because Valentine's Day is fast approaching, and sometimes that is a very significant and difficult time for people who either have an ill partner or spouse or who have lost a loved one recently, and it can be very tender.
All of those first holidays are always very, very difficult.
Very difficult indeed, yes.
So how do people become involved with hospice if they're going through that need or if they sense the need? A lot of recommendation from a healthcare professional, or?
Certainly, if they are looking at being faced with a life-limiting illness, that it is very important to be talking with one's physician. Physicians often will make those referrals. And sometimes even a person will self-refer, or a friend might let them know about hospice, and anyone can call the hospice office and make an inquiry. And if it seems fitting, a staff member will come out and visit with them and possibly get the ball rolling if indeed it looks like hospice care is appropriate.
Now, you're with Hospice of the Red River Valley. How large
Correct.
an area does that group serve?
We serve all or parts of 29 counties in Minnesota and North Dakota.
Okay.
So it's rather a large geographic area.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so when people do begin the whole process, what can they expect? Would people come in to their homes a number of times a week, or how does that work?
Sure, that is something that is established between the person's physician and the patient and family and hospice, and they work together to coordinate a plan of care that is most appropriate to that individual. Some people come in, ideally they would come in many months prior to the actual death of the individual. We have had people on the program for as long as several years, but the qualifications or the criteria typically are for an individual whose illness is life-limiting for 6 months or less. That would be the life expectancy. And also they are choosing palliative care, or we call it comfort care, as opposed to aggressively trying to treat an illness.
Okay. Now locally, the hospice office is out on Highway 10 East here, I believe.
It is. It's just a few minutes away in the Detroit Lakes area.
Sure. Okay. Can people contact that office directly, or is it best to work with their personal physician?
They can contact the office directly.
If
The
they have
hospice,
questions,
absolutely, the hospice office always welcomes questions, and so they can contact directly. If they're just in the beginning stages of exploring information, they certainly can go to our website. That is www.hrrv.org.
So
And they can get a plethora of information from the
all sorts of
website too.
things,
It's a good place to start.
So, Connie, other things we should talk about here before we wrap up today?
Sure. If I could just say a word about people who have had a loss, and we started out talking about the fact that the loss of a loved one is a very tender time, and in particular, if a person has lost a spouse or someone of their household, they're having day-to-day reminders of how difficult that gaping hole is in their lives when they've experienced loss. There are a number of programs that we offer that will assist people and support people and educate people about the bereavement process as they go through that time of loss. And coming up this spring, there will be classes called Journeying Through Grief, a series of classes that will help people who are fairly newly bereaved, meaning 6 months, approximately 6 months, or even more recent than that, and help them to kind of understand that path that they are on, that journey called grief, and provide education and support. And as well, we do programming for young people, for youths, called Youth Journeys. And we also have a resource center that is available to the public that provides books and media resources and a variety of educational things that are available.
Oh, good.
And again, the website really offers a very good scope of that information.
Okay, so a phone call or a visit online, or that personal contact, just
Exactly.
Wonderful ways to make that whole process that much easier. So thank you so much for joining us, and thank you and your family of staff members for being a part of our community as well.
It's our privilege. Thank you for having us, Dave.
Sure. Thanks for watching, folks, and please tune in again next week to the TV3 calendar right here on TV3.